Fish on.
Really nice looking fish.
Woo! I love it. That's a hog. Woo!
Oh yeah, bring him up to me. It's a nice fish.
Nice job. That is a tank.
Nice job, you two.
Lund Boats proudly presents the ultimate fishing experience. This week on Lund's The Ultimate Fishing Experience. Each and every summer, millions of families embark on the tradition of heading to the lake. The lake is a draw for many reasons: swimming, boating, and of course, the must-have campfire. But nothing puts a smile on a kid's face like catching fish. The age-old tradition of handing down fishing knowledge from parent to son and daughter has happened for generations and will generate memories for a lifetime.
Sweet.
Unfortunately, these family excursions are often too few and far between. To make the most of this limited time, it's best to be prepared. We join up with Joel Nelson and family with tips for making fishing fun and easy for everyone to enjoy. The tradition of heading to the lake is so endearing for one good reason: the water just seems to bring families together.
Awesome job, bud. You did good. You were a panfish guy. Isaac back here caught a ton of bass today, and keep it simple. Stick to the basics. They can enjoy success like this, right guys?
Yeah.
You know, today is all about just stretching a line, bending a rod. We've kind of chosen a lake here that's got a good amount of multi-species activity. We've got, you know, a fishery that isn't necessarily just focused on trophies, but a fishery that's focused on multiple panfish species, got some bass. That's probably what we're gonna go after today. And, you know, when you're taking kids out on the water and a family out specifically, it's nice to have your ducks in a row. It gets really difficult when you're out on the water trying to retie multiple rigs, constantly fussing with line, constantly fussing with different baits and where they go and how. So it really behooves you to kind of set things up, get ready, tie on the baits that you think you'll probably use throughout most of the day, and also use quality components. I mean, line is one of the cheapest things that you can incorporate into your trip. And I can tell you right now, with kids, tangles and twirls and twists and mess can be a real issue. So I've gone ahead and I've re-spooled all these rods. I've got fresh line on there for them. I've got spinning reels primarily. That's just a little bit easier for them to run for the most part. And we're all about choosing baits that are gonna be easy for them to throw and easy for them to catch fish with. So we're just gonna start off on the panfish side of things with bobbers. We'll have a couple panfish jigs, just smaller micro jigs. We might tip them with bait for sunfish. For crappies, we'll probably have some tube jigs we'll try and mix in. So on the panfish side, keeping it simple is gonna be really important. Now when it comes to bass, it's the same way. We want just baits that you can throw up to shore, bring back to the boat. You can feel the bite and set the hook. So we've got some wacky rigs set up, maybe a Ned rig or two. And again, the focus is keeping it simple, going with quality stuff, being rigged and ready, and then we can get out there on the water and have some fun with no fuss and no muss. You know, this is a good looking panfish spot. We got a bunch of reed beds, and even though we just saw a muskie, I think they're probably in here looking for fish to eat. So all we're gonna do, we're gonna partially thread this thing on. If it's bluegills, I always like having just a little bit more of the wax worm on. We could just head hook it and then it would flail back there, but all it would take is one bluegill to come and just pull the thing off. So we'll thread it just partially on there, kind of cover the hook point a little bit. And that was your Grandpa's Chica's tip, cover that hook point. The real finicky gills don't like seeing hook points. Cover them up and maybe we can trick them. That's the goal anyway, huh? All right. So now, before you reel in, tighten that line. Remember on your first loop? There you go. Oh, you had him.
I'm just gonna try again. try this again.
Think he'll try again?
Oh, he's coming.
Oh, he's coming. Get me.
That's the little one.
Careful. You got him.
Dang, that thing's huge.
I got one too.
You got one? That a
He's
boy?
monster.
Ooh, Isaac's got a nicer one.
He's an absolute unit over here.
Let me see that guy. Oh, he's not bad. Working the right way. When it comes to a lot of panfish species, and even bluegills, when the water gets warmer, you don't necessarily need bait, but we're on the front end of the season, and bluegills are a species where a little bit of bait can really make a big difference. So right now, especially with kids, you don't need to challenge them into catching them, right? I mean, plastics can work great once it gets a little bit warmer, but sometimes just a little bit of bait on the tip of that hook can make all the difference.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
So part of the trip is a little bit about planning preparedness with the rods and reels, but it's also about knowing where fish might be this time of year. We're at the end of May, early June. It's one of my favorite times of the year to fish. And normally north central Minnesota lakes this time of year, we've got crappies that are starting to spawn, if not finishing up. We've got bluegills that are, they're still in the shallows. They're starting to queue up and get ready for the spawn that's yet to come. And the bass are also teeming in the shallows just off of some of the interior weed lines as well, especially when they get some good sun, warmer water. So I don't know a ton about this lake, but we've got some intel. We've done our background work. We've looked at some of the maps, and that's been really informative because we got a couple main lake points that'll, have some shallower water with good weeds for us. Really, it's all about planning preparedness from your gear perspective, but you need to know a little bit about timing, time of year, seasonal patterns of fish, so that hopefully you can take that plan out onto the lake and get on fish pretty quickly. Good work, buddy.
Try it again.
Check them out.
Same spot.
I got one too.
Oh boy.
This spot is
Are we on it?
good cooking. Don't even need a worm.
Put them back?
Eat it.
All right.
Nice.
Oh, that's a nice one, Isaac.
Yeah, I know. Look at that fish.
That is a fat, fat fish. Oh, Micah, come here. Let's check this out. Okay, so you guys have seen bluegills before, right? Yeah. And you've seen pumpkin seeds before, right? And they're real bright down here. This one is actually a cross between the two. Here we go. Spunky little guy. So you see it's got a little bit bigger ear tab. Doesn't have the same coloration as a pumpkin seed or a bluegill. This lake actually has quite a few hybrids, so it's just a simple cross between bluegill and pumpkin seed. So beautiful fish. This is a big fish. Isaac, you want to do the honors? Let him go?
Sure.
All right, I'd say grab him just like this and send him over that side. Take your time. I want to see him swim away.
Right there. Yep.
Yep, that's where they're at. That's where I hooked up.
Yeah. Nice.
That's where they're at.
That's a bigger one.
That's a nice
That's
fish.
a big fish.
Yeah, we'll keep that one. We'll keep him.
No.
Oh, yeah. That is what we're after right there. Look at that. Just a big, beautiful male.
Got one
No,
now.
I
Nice ear tabs, bright, bright colors. I love it when they get this stippling on the top of their back. Nice. That is super cool.
Did you have one or did you leave it?
It's important. I got these two kids behind me and they're catching bluegills, and if we want to keep catching bluegills like this, fish like this have to go back. The key to keeping bluegill populations the way they are and better is to release those big males like that. If you want to catch a 9, you got to release a lot of 8s. If you want to catch a 10-inch fish, you got to release a lot of 9s. And this is living proof that if you go out and you release some of those big males, you're going to have big bluegills to catch for the future. And I just can't overstate it enough. It's super important, and it just excites me to be able to be out here doing this. What? Yeah, nice.
There was like 3 of them.
Keep it tight now. Keep it tight. Tight. That a boy? Oh, look at that guy.
That is
Look at that tank.
That is a plump pumpkin
Absolute
seed.
unit. Look at that. He's got like green stuff on his
Oh, he's got some
gills.
stuff on his gills.
Yeah, it's like rotting.
That's a beautiful fish, guy.
Got him.
There you go. Yep.
Hey. Biggest fish of the day.
You clean out the small ones, and me and your brother will get the big ones. How's that?
That's cool.
I watched him come up with about 2 other sunnies. It's right by the boat.
I am
Crazy.
bequeathing you the rod that you previously tangled
Okay.
to untangle the one,
Okay.
the next one.
I'll take that one back once you.
Look at this.
Where you go?
Got to come to expect some of this when you're out in the boat with kids. And I'll be honest, when the boys were younger, I was still learning my patience. I'm getting better. I'm still not great at it, but you just gotta grit your teeth and bear it, and know that it's part of the experience, and still try and keep it fun, and they'll have fun. Look at that, not so bad.
Oh, got one.
He's on already, look at that.
Whoa. Hey, buddy. Chillax.
Caught a lot of bluegills, a lot of panfish this morning. Maybe it is time to give them a break. It's starting to slow down here a little bit midday, and we'll just go throw some rubber at the shorelines. What do you think? Maybe catch some bass? Yeah? All right. So today we're fishing out of a Lund 1875 crossover XS, and it's been a really nice boat for the family. I tell you, it's a length that I'm very familiar with. It's really nice because it's able to fit in a lot of smaller water bodies, but also you don't feel undersized when you're on some of the larger ones. So it's at a real sweet spot just in terms of its length. Plenty of room up on the bow. You can see that I'm running the trolling motor just like I would any other boat. It's been really nice to have the front deck as it is, but the other cool part about the front deck is there's some nice seat cushions that can be put in. These pads stretch across the front, and if people just want to lounge and maybe we're done fishing, it's nice to have these backrests here and those cushions down for people as you're just tooling around and enjoying the lake. And the full windshield is obviously something really neat too, because it's a little bit rough. Maybe you're chasing some waves and going down and tubing with the boys. It's one of those things where it's nice to have a little bit of protection from the wind. This thing also has the ability to remove this little platform here, so you can actually have people that drop their legs in here too and kind of sit around horseshoe shapes. I like the rod storage. I'm able to put 10 rods down the center. That's really nice. And the first thing that strikes me when I get to the cockpit is actually the open sides. And those open sides are awesome because we've got right now granola bars, life jackets, all of our running light. We've got the slide out drawers, just like so many of the boats in the Lund lineup. And you get towards the back and you see these flip-up seats, and they're just awesome because it allows you to run less main seats if you want. But the cool part is about them is I feel it's a really stable platform for my kids. When you flip it down and you want to fish, you've got an incredible casting deck that's large, it's flat, you guys can go ahead and fish for anything from muskies to bass, and it's really not shorting yourself on that end. As well as a large aft aerated live well, which is 24 gallons. There's a lower large center storage locker for wakeboards or gear, which is really nice if you've got a family out on the water. Hey, another great feature of this boat, ski pylons with bow cushions, which make it really nice for anybody skiing or tubing. There's an integrated hidden boarding ladder, which is really nice for the family when they're out for a swim, as well as integrated LED interior lighting. It's really a well thought out design from front to back, especially when it's powered with the Merc Pro XS on the back. That one's a 175 top end, and this thing really scoots. It's a great fishing boat, but it's also a great family boat, and for me that's of utmost importance, because if my family doesn't like coming fishing with me, I'm gonna do a whole lot less of it. So maybe it's a way for a lot more of you guys to get out on the water and enjoy more than just fishing, yet still have a great fishing boat to boot. Atta boy! Reel him in!
Can't tell there's a fish.
When they jump, it's a fish. He's got another one in him. Here he comes. Reach down and grab him, bud.
Hey, buddy.
I don't think you're supposed to talk to the fish, are you? You pop that hook out? Good work, Micah. What is it? Nice bass. Good work, guys. Oh, look at the one following it. See the one following it? Nice. You know, they're in the back of the boat. Dad's front boating them, but they're kind of handing it to me from back there, and that's good though. I tell you, for bass fishing and whatnot, it's great to be able to go down the shoreline, watch them just pitch baits up against on their own. They're making close casts right up against the edge of cover. Makes my heart swell. It's just awesome.
I'm using a crayfish on a jig head, and I've just been mixing up the retrieves, and it's working out pretty well for me.
Seeing them go from barely able to pitch a spinning rod to be able to precisely put a cast right on the edge of a reed bed and catch the bass that they're catching and catch, you know, the panfish that they did earlier. Again, even though they're kicking my butt, it makes me feel pretty darn good, proud as a father. All right. Well, there are fish that are peppered up and down the shoreline, so it's really fun when you can find a spot that doesn't really matter what we're throwing, to be honest with you. Go down in the water and thumb them, Isaac. Open your mouth. You good? Smile. Nice. Good job, bud. That's a good one. Smile. Nice. Good job, bud. You know, it's been a mixed bag kind of day. We've been poking along in the shallows, and we were just fishing for crappies. Of course, Isaac sees something that looks a little bit bassy and pitches in there, and boom, nice smallmouth. And that's really the way it's gone all day, is we're just poking around in the shallows, alternating between the edges of the deep stuff, going back in shallow, and when we see something that looks fishy, we'll throw at it. And if it looks like a great crappie spot, got some nice reeds, we'll pitch in there with bobbers. If it looks like it's got some rock and gravel, like that spot did, we'll throw at it for bass.
Is that fish? Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's not fighting. There just wasn't head shakes. It's fighting harder now. There's a bass that's bigger. Yes.
Isaac, keep him tight, bud.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
That's what we're after. Sweet. People are taking pictures of me. That's nice. Shoot. That's a good one. It's pretty awesome. Love that feeling.
You see, I've kind of switched up to a jig worm. We're fishing just a touch deeper than we were earlier in the day. Now, earlier in the day, the sun was shining in the shallows, and we were catching fish really up in that inside weed line, 2-3 foot of water. And now, you know, we've got a little bit more wind and a little bit more sun as it's higher in the sky, and kind of feel like those fish have positioned just off that edge a touch. So now we're fishing more 6-8 feet of water and just kind of fishing slightly deeper presentations as we go. And it's starting to pay off because we're getting bit by some better fish.
Oh, man. And he was just there waiting for me.
Nice. Good job, Isaac.
Little guy.
Go ahead.
There it goes. Nice.
Picked it up well.
Bass.
Is this a...
It's a rock bass.
It's a record breaker rock bass. Where's my congrats? This thing could...
That's fat.
Check out that chunker. It's kind of the joy of fishing like this though, because you never know what you're gonna catch. We just got all messed up by a pike. Caught some rock bass today. We've caught bluegill. Just about everything that swims is what can be caught with what we're fishing. So it kind of makes it fun not knowing what you're gonna reel in next.
You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
What do you got?
Crappie. Big one.
What is it?
It's a big crappie.
Ooh, jeez. Bring it here. Oh man, it's like a bass. Look at that. Talk about crappies. This thing's a magnum, Micah. Holy cow. Hold your fish. Come on down here, buddy. Look at this thing. Can you stick your thumb in its mouth? All right, you got him? Come on down. Stand down with me. Yeah, like I was saying, these reed beds, we've been seeing them all day, and they got bass in them, but they got big crappies too. We've been waiting to catch one, and what do you think that thing goes? That thing's long, 13 inches, 14 inches maybe? Holy cow. You ever caught a crappie that big? You know, a crappie like that, Micah, he's probably spawning, so let's let him or her back to do its thing, huh? Oh! Awesome job, bud. You did good. You were a panfish guy. Isaac back here caught a ton of bass today, and I tell you what, if you're gonna go out with kids, you're gonna make it a multi-species kind of day, keep it simple, stick to the basics, have good quality equipment, choose a couple key presentations, and they can enjoy success like this, right guys?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like more information, check out lundboats.com or these other online outlets.